Let's dive deeper into Bruce Lee's films from the beginning, exploring their significance, impact, and why they're regarded as some of his most iconic works. 1. Enter the Dragon, 1973. Overview. Enter the Dragon is widely considered Bruce Lee's most iconic film. It was a collaboration between Warner Brothers and Hong Kong's Golden Harvest studio. Directed by Robert Clouse, it was also Lee's final completed film before his untimely death at the age of 32. Plot: Bruce Lee plays Lee, a martial artist recruited by a British intelligence agency to infiltrate a martial arts tournament on an island run by the criminal mastermind, Han. The film features breathtaking choreography and Lee's flawless fighting techniques. Legacy. It was the first martial arts film to gain significant mainstream success in the West, and its influence is still seen in action films today. Enter the Dragon cemented Lee's status as a global icon. 2. The Way of the Dragon, 1972. Overview. The Way of the Dragon is notable for being Bruce Lee's directorial debut. Lee not only starred in the movie but also wrote and directed it. The film is known for the legendary fight between Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris in the Coliseum, which remains one of the most memorable moments in martial arts cinema. Plot: Lee plays a martial artist named Tang Lung, who is sent to Italy to help his friends protect their restaurant from a group of thugs. As tensions escalate, Lee's character faces off against Norris's character, Colt, a martial arts expert. Legacy. This film is a favorite among Bruce Lee fans for its balance of action, humor, and philosophy. Lee's choreography and fighting style were at their peak here, making the film a true classic. 3. Fist of Fury, 1972. Overview. Fist of Fury, also known as The Chinese Connection, was another huge success for Bruce Lee. Directed by Marlowe, this film marked Lee's first major hit in Hong Kong and helped solidify his star power. Plot: Lee plays Chen Zhen, a student of a martial arts school in Shanghai. When his master dies under suspicious circumstances, Chen Zhen goes on a quest for vengeance, confronting both Japanese oppressors and corrupt Chinese collaborators. Legacy. Fist of Fury became a massive hit in Asia, and it's considered one of Bruce Lee's best films for its action, social commentary, and Lee's intense performance. His portrayal of Chen Zhen made the character iconic, and it was later used in several other films and TV adaptations. 4. The Big Boss, 1971. Overview. The Big Boss was Bruce Lee's breakthrough film, marking his first starring role in a Hong Kong production. Directed by Marlowe, the film was a major commercial success and launched Lee into stardom. Plot: Lee plays Cheung Chao An, a young man who moves to Thailand to work at an ice factory. When he discovers that the factory is secretly involved in a drug smuggling operation, he must fight back against the criminal syndicate. Legacy. The film made Lee an international sensation and helped establish his reputation as one of the greatest martial artists on screen. It also marked the beginning of Lee's iconic fight for justice roles in cinema. 5th Game of Death, 1978. Overview. Game of Death was released posthumously after Bruce Lee's death, and it was pieced together from footage that Lee had shot before he passed away. The film was unfinished at the time of his death, and many of the remaining scenes were reshot using a body double, which is why it's often seen as a reconstruction of Lee's original vision. Plot: In the incomplete version of the film, Lee plays Billy Lowe, a martial artist who is targeted by criminal forces. He must ascend a pagoda, fighting different martial artists on each level to reach the final boss. Legacy. Although it was incomplete, Game of Death is iconic for the action sequences featuring Lee, including his famous yellow jumpsuit and nunchaku fight. It's an essential part of Lee's legacy and has inspired many martial arts films that followed. sixth Game of Death 2, 1981. Overview. Released in 1981, Game of Death VA is a Hong Kong martial arts film that loosely ties into the original Game of Death. It's not a direct continuation of Lee's unfinished project, but instead incorporates some of the footage from the original film. Plot. The story involves a character searching for Lee's lost brother, who was last seen at a high-stakes tournament. The plot is secondary to the action, which is filled with fight scenes inspired by the original Game of Death. Legacy. While not as well received as Lee's other works, Game of Death II continues the exploitation of Bruce Lee's image and brings a degree of closure to the story of the original Game of Death. Siedem. Marlowe, 1969. Overview. Marlowe was a departure from Bruce Lee's usual martial arts films, as it's a noir detective film starring James Garner. Lee plays a villain, a character named Screwy Louie, who is involved in a plot against the protagonist. Plot. The film revolves around a private detective, Marlowe, hired to find a missing woman. Lee's role as the villain, though small, was a memorable one due to his unique screen presence. Legacy. Marlowe wasn't a major success, but it gave Lee an opportunity to break into Hollywood and show his talents outside the realm of martial arts, though his performance is brief. 8. The Orphan, 1960. Overview. The Orphan was one of Bruce Lee's earliest films, made when he was a child actor in Hong Kong. The movie is a drama, and Lee plays a small role as a young boy named Lee Chun. Plot. The film is about a young orphan who is adopted by a wealthy family. It's a dramatic piece, focusing on the emotional struggles of the boy. Legacy. Although this film is not related to his martial arts fame, it's interesting to see Bruce Lee in his early years as an actor. It showcases his early potential in dramatic acting before he became a martial arts superstar. 9. The Kid, 1950. Overview. The Kid was a film in which Bruce Lee starred as a child actor, and it's one of the rare films where he performed dramatic acting rather than martial arts. Plot. Lee plays a young boy, and the story revolves around the life and challenges he faces growing up. Legacy. While it's mostly a forgotten film in Lee's filmography, The Kid shows his early acting career and potential in the industry before he became known worldwide for his martial arts skills. 10. Bruce Lee, The Man, The Myth, 1976. Overview. This film is a biographical drama about the life of Bruce Lee, released 3 years after his death. It's an unauthorized portrayal, and while it isn't an accurate depiction, it helped solidify Lee's legendary status in the global imagination. Plot. The film dramatizes Bruce Lee's rise to fame, his martial arts philosophy, and his untimely death, though it's filled with fictionalized moments and liberties. Legacy. This biographical film became one of the most prominent early representations of Lee's life in the years following his death. While it is less factual, it fueled the myth of Bruce Lee and introduced his legacy to new generations. Bruce Lee's films are not just martial arts movies. They are cultural milestones that have inspired generations of filmmakers, martial artists, and fans. His unique fighting style, charisma, and philosophical outlook have cemented his status as one of the most influential figures in cinema history.